The filing of certificates of candidacy for the midterm elections starts next week amidst COMELEC's preoccupation with the Bangsamoro plebiscite. After that week of submitting pertinent papers, amidst the fiesta-filled rallying atmosphere outside by its supporters, qualified candidates will wait until February or March, depending on the position, for the official campaign period. During the next 4.5 to 6 months, the candidate supporters will grow impatient, cross the line by posting their tarpaulins with subtle emphasis of aspiring position, but without the word "vote for" and air numerous ads, plus a live story on national television. Despite the efforts of citizen journalists posting over social media with tags for premature campaigning, COMELEC remains so powerless to stop them. Why would an authorized electoral body be stripped of one of their appropriate powers to report and disqualify erring candidates? In short, blame it on the Supreme Court. To get a clear, medium answer, we will dig deeper on the legalistic issues leading up to the Constitutional Commission's futility. The Omnibus Election Code was approved in 1985, which amended further to be compatible with the then new government and the respective constitution. Premature campaigning is not even exactly termed in that core electoral law, but its Section 80 stated that it shall be unlawful for any person, whether or not a voter or candidate, or for any party or association of persons, to engage in an election campaign or partisan political activity, except during the campaign period. More than 3 decades since its force, two challenging rulings were taken and penned in opposite ways by the Supreme Court. In 2004, Henry P. Lanot was running for Pasig City mayor, challenging Vicente Eusebio, whose political scion ran the city continuously since 1992. Filed a complaint for engaging questionable acts, occasions susceptible to premature campaigning, with 4 observations. Allegedly for 1. Addressing a large group of people during a medical mission sponsored by the city government. 2. Uttering defamatory statements against him. 3. Publishing a press release predicting his victory, installing billboards, streamers, posters, and stickers printed with his surname across Pasig City. And 4. Distributing shoes to schoolchildren to induce their parents to vote for him. Less than a week before the polls, the regional director of COMELEC ordered Eusebio's disqualification. However, with ping-pong of authority within the commission, the canvassing of vote continued without prejudice and Eusebio won. Lanot was not happy and appealed it up to the High Tribunal. On November 2006, the petition had no merit, favoring COMELEC. Lanot wasn't able to see his disappointment as he was shot dead a year before by an unknown assailant. A year after the Lanot ruling, when the pen and paper systems for synchronized national and local elections were employed for the last time, a small town of Santa Monica, Surigao del Norte, the northernmost coastal town of the province with then a bit less than 8,000 residents, Rosalinda Pinera was elected mayor. About less than a month into office, COMELEC's second division issued a resolution to disqualify her for suspicion of premature campaigning by hopping on a motorcade with just 1 day left before the official campaign period, in order to set aside to her vice mayor, with the Commission's en banc affirmation a year after. Initially, on September 11, 2009, the court affirmed the instant disqualification. Then 2 months later, on November the 25th, when people were preoccupied and overshadowed with the shock of the Maguindanao massacre 2 days prior, the same court granted the motion for reconsideration for Pinera, thereby continuing her service for the remainder of the term, and at the same time reversing the Lanot verdict. The court's judgment and its reaffirmation in that year did not just end the restraint and discipline of their electoral process in favor of extensive yet exploitative freedom, but rather open up the consequences of future sepology-related rulings. 4 years later, the display of posters in a cathedral in Bacolod beyond the official dimensions and counting television exposure time for candidates, and where the original point of reference was also discussed in the court, in which both affected provisions were overturned. Nonetheless, as judges in Padre Fausto back then do not have a preloaded degree on psychology. The critical ruling did not realize that it could favor small printing business and big television networks to accept delivery of candidates' paraphernalia unconditionally, thereby easily ignoring the pith of business ethics for the sake of profit. In the end, it also puts ill-informed voters who rather follow the bandwagon rather than to use their own minds to choose their involuntary choices, albeit deemed unqualified by others.